Hang on. Hello, hello. How is everyone? Hope you're doing well. My name's Cam, and I have with me Cam. So Cam squared. There you go. I've got Cameron, who makes Organite things and Tensor things that are very cool. So we're going to be making some tomorrow, but we thought we'd come on and have a chat. So hello. This is actually take two, by the way. We started and then we realized that we hadn't gone live. Now, can you hear me? How's the sound? Let me know. So I just say hello, Denise. Oh, I'm your favorite Aussie. Thank you. Hello, Warrior Class, Annette, Kat, Cameron, Kat Mellor, to join now. Hello. Walk this way. Chris, how you doing? Jim, hello, hello. Kylie, Magic, hello, Mr. Bill. All right. Smash the like. Yes, I agree. Thank you very much, Chris. Henrietta. All right. What's that? Nemesis Bex. Very good. All right. So, yeah, we don't really have anything. We just thought we'd come on and have a chat. So what are we going to chat about, Cameron? Life.
Things that are going on in the world, I suppose.
Life and things that are going on in the world, philosophy, theosophy. Anyone got any? Oh my gosh, is it freezing? How's the sound? Is yours freezing? No, it's just mine.
It
Okay.
seems like it's working. How's the audio?
How's the audio? Yeah, is the audio? We're
testing out a bit of a new setup.
We've got a Cameron, a camera, another cam. See, it's tri-cam now. And yeah, so we've got the microphone out here. So is it good? Good. All right. Cool. All right. So, all right. Well, let's start off with this. Where's the camera there? This is Organite, made by. What is it? What does it do? How does
it work?
It's just metal in vinyl, isn't it? In fiberglass resin.
Yeah.
Resin.
So this is a product of a couple by the name of Don and Carol Croft, who basically came to a understanding of what Dr. Wilhelm Reich was studying in the form of orgone energy. They took his research and basically came up with the idea of combining metal shavings and encasing it with resin, and that is also in turn putting pressure on crystals that are inside of the device. Basically, the metals act as a electrical conductor, and when they're encased in polyester resin, which is long strands of polycarbon chains, it basically coats all of the individual bits of metal from one another in order to allow for the energy to flow through it. This creates a crazy array of movement where it bounces the energy back and forth between the bits of metal that are inside of it, and strips the charge of the ion, allowing for the crystal to then in turn invert the polarity. So, long story short, it works very similar to like the two ends of a magnet, works on polarity, combining different types of material in order to
Sorry, keep talking.
In order to basically help cleanse ambient EMF that is being generated by all of our technologies, from our phones to the Wi-Fi to the cell phone towers.
Yeah, there you go. So they neutralize bad vibes, man. I don't know where to look. I've done this. And Cameron was saying when he got here, he made how many? 100 little ones to throw at 5G towers, basically to neutralize all the bad juju coming off them. So this is something that everyone can do, right? You can change the energy around you.
It's one of the major things that got me involved in the is the gifting movement. The gifting movement, again, was a product of Don and Carol Croft, in which they were creating these little round muffin tin-sized Organite pieces and were throwing them at cell phone. But yeah, these little devices are rather cheap and effective at what they do, in order to be able to throw them in quantity at all of the different cell phone towers that line the highways and suburbia and so on. But yeah, I made 100 of these things, and I barely got a third, maybe 2/3 of the way through Victoria, just driving up the highway to come up to New South Wales, and I'd already run out of these things. Like, there's that many of them around. It's not funny. So yeah, being able to join in on the gifting movement, all you need is some resin, some metal shavings off of a drill, and a handful of crystals, and you can make these devices in order to be able to help throw at your cell phone towers in your local area.
There you go. A bit of resin. And I mean, these simple ones too, you can pretty much learn how to make them off YouTube or Facebook. What's your Facebook page?
Organite Creations CA. That's facebook.com/Organite CA, or Organite Creations CA is my page on Facebook. But if you want to email me, you can do so at organitecreationsaustralia@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send you some information in regards to getting into this space to be able to help us, because they're putting up more towers every day.
Hey man, got to fight the bad vibes, raise frequency. What's the CA stand for?
Creations Australia.
Oh, okay. Organite Creations Australia.
So the Facebook URL is facebook.com/Organite CA.
Ah,
yeah.
There we go. All right, so you made this for me. What is this?
So this is known as a Tensor harmonizer. This is a product of Mr. Slim Sperling, who was a fella out of Boulder, Colorado. These devices are atmospheric cleansers, very similar to what Orgonite is. In fact, the base of it is a bit of Orgonite, which adds to the overall cleansing aspect of it. But these have a much larger area of effect, in which case, by striking a 432 hertz chime, or playing some kind of music frequency soundtrack, that'll take that particular frequency and then throw it out up to 15 miles, or roughly about 23 kilometers. And so it has a massive effect on the intention work that you want to put into it, by being able to then broadcast that intention out to a much further area. It's fantastic in regards to being able to clean up EMF as well, and has even been shown to be able to help raise the water levels in certain drought-stricken areas and stuff like that as well. So, yeah. If anybody wants to look into Slim Sperling particularly, I'd recommend the book In the Mind of a Master. You can't really find this book in physical form. It's upwards of $100 to get a copy, but you can find a PDF online very easily. So check that out.
Download it for free. Yeah, man. Gosh, I had a question. I was going to say too, sorry for anyone who watched my last live. I went and checked today and realized it had like a million ads in it. Like, I looked at it, and like the first half there was like one, and then it was literally, it must have been one every 2 minutes for like half of the live. So I'm sorry about that. I've fixed it, and I'll be checking. I've been traveling, but I'll be checking my the videos and making sure there's not many ads in them. Maybe one or two. Sorry, I need to eat.
But yeah.
And yes, I'm back in Australia. Someone asked, I am back in the dome. Someone asked me, good vibes, photo blessings to you all. Hello, Emerald Eagle. The wise man says, Cam put himself in a box. Cam squared. Yeah, man. Cam squared. No, I got out of the box.
No, it's a dome. Come on.
It's a dome. Yeah, man. I'm out of the box, man. Out of the box. Anything else that interesting? Hello, Cambell, Fourth Wise Man. Hello, Jacob's Law. Please put the link in the description of the chat. All right, anyone who wants to do appreciated. Jim boiled strong vinegar outdoors and blew a hole in the contrails. Oh, I heard that. I've heard that before. Boiling vinegar. Have you heard that before?
I was just about to ask, like, what did he do?
He boiled
vinegar outdoors.
vinegar outside when there was chemtrails in the air,
Right.
and it blew a hole. Blew a hole in them.
Cannot say I've heard of that one before.
All right.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if by doing that and putting a harmonizer next to it, it'd enhance the effect out even further. It's very interesting.
Carly Simon's in the chat. You're so vain. That's Carly Simon, right? Did I get that right? Yeah.
You're so vain.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
I think so. I think that's the singer's name. But anyway, I've either been smart or silly. Yes, I'm alive. You lost track of all my movements. Yes, I am. I got back. Oh gosh, when did I get back? 2 days ago. When was it? Yesterday?
No, Sunday. Dude.
What's today?
Tuesday.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was. Okay, so I got back Sunday. I got back into the country Saturday, I think. It took me a day to get from the bloody airport down here. And I spent 3 days traveling, but because there's a difference in time, I left on the 1st and got here on the 4th. Like, that was my adventure, man. So next time I'm going straight to LA.
Time travel.
I did time travel, man.
Certified time traveler.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I got it right. Yeah, man. All right, so let's talk. What have we got? We've had some really good conversations. So you were talking about this and how it works better than if you'd had a solid bar or something. What were you saying about that?
So instead of having like a solid bit of metal inside of it,
Yeah.
versus the individual
Shavings.
metal shavings, yeah. So a lot of people, they'll put like beads, like metal beads inside of them and stuff
Okay.
like that as well. And while the idea being like on the harmonizers, the original harmonizers, Slim put metal beads like around beads
Okay.
on the harmonizer. They act as amplifiers. But the thing with the metal shavings is that because they're all very little small, like random shapes, when they're insulated by the resin, that throws the energy in random patterns throughout the metal matrix.
Okay.
Whereas a copper bead, like particularly if they're just little small beads and that's the only kind of metal inside of it, it'll pull it towards it, but it's not going to induct that energy through it very far because it's in a circular pattern, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if they're in these little individual bits of metal, I'll put in like brass, copper, blue steel, and aluminium. Try and get a few different types of metal in there as well, because each of those types of metal have different surface area, and therefore it's like a water filter in that it's going through different mediums to be scrubbed. The individual metal shifters induct the energy through it, and because they're in all random patterns, it throws that energy in around about chaotic matter.
Yeah, it's all smashing into each other.
Right.
Yeah, it feels that.
But it's hitting those various types of surface area between the individual metal layers, and so it's bouncing the ion through those metal layers and the different surface areas, which then in turn strips the charge. So when they're in this format, it's known as an induction matrix because it's inducting the energy in through it. But because the crystals are inside of it as well, under pressure, that creates piezoelectricity, and so in turn wants to repel that energy, and so that in turn as well creates
it's
more
already
motion.
created a field with the piezo. Is that why?
The physioelectricity is forcing repelling it back. Yeah.
But does that create a field?
Yeah.
Is that
The
field
whole thing is
because it's
conducting it.
creating a piezoelectric like pressure, like that would create a field around it, which is then bouncing everything out again.
Yeah, so it's trying to repel that positively charged ion back from it, which then in turn reverses it through all of the metal layers, which is stripping the charge further, allowing for the crystal to have more effect in flipping the polarity. So once the polarity's been flipped, it then releases from the device and has then moved on because it's no longer got that positive charge to it. It's not being inducted into the metal matrix. And so negative ions are much beneficial for all types of living life, whether it's us or plant life or the water itself, fruit, fruit bowls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything like that will have a beneficial effect upon it.
Wow.
It's literally generating positive, beneficial life force energy.
There you go. It is actual technology, right? And that's why, of course, you've got to get real because you can get them on online. I've seen them on like Wish and stuff, and don't think they work very well, guys. organites. It might look pretty, but yeah, man, Organite. Get out there and learn how to make some, hey?
Just on that as well, they're a very spiritual type device. You know, it's correcting energetic imbalances within the body, and a lot of that is caused by trauma, life events that are not necessarily in your control, or anything like that. Really. It gives you an opportunity because it's trying to create motion again in a stagnant energy body somewhere within the system, and so in turn, it's stimulating that area and is trying to get those blockages out. So a lot of the time that'll come up as feelings of inadequacy or something like that. Whatever it was that was particular to your particular trauma that it's trying to correct, it'll be like a mirror in that it's giving you an opportunity to look at those things and do that internal shadow work to overcome it.
Wow.
So it's not just that it's a EMF cleanser, it's that it's literally trying to unblock blockages within the human energetics.
Because it works with energy and transmutation. How close do you have to be to for it to work? Like, if someone buys this, puts it in their house, like, will it just work passively on them?
Yeah. So that's the beauty of them, is that they're infinitely charged. Like, they're not like regular crystals where you need to cleanse them, or like a salt lamp.
Oh, because they're cleansing themselves as well. Is that why? Okay.
Because the crystals are under pressure, it's generating that physioelectricity, and so that they're self-cleansing. They're no longer necessary to have them out under moonlight or do saging or anything like that.
Right.
However, because it is a spiritual device, when you are creating them, you have to be in the right sort of heart space and mental space in order to be able to create a product that is not having your own emotions imbued into the crystals as you go about doing it. And so personally, I'll take my crystals and I'll sage them before I go ahead and imbue them with my intentions and strike a 5 to 8 hertz chime or an 1111 chime or something like that. And that in turn will also then allow me to take my mental program and imbue it into the crystal before it then goes in under pressure, exuding that intention back out.
Okay, wow.
And so your comment about wish and stuff like that, unfortunately,
not much good intention.
The crystals are generally mined through slave labor if they're bought in such mass quantity. The material that's holding it all together is actually a form of glass. It's not actually polyester resin, and so in turn it's not providing that induction matrix. And thirdly, if the person that's actually making it has no sort of heart-based intention behind it, it's also going to be a inferior product because of it.
So can they just won't work as well, but
not only that, it's taking their BS.
I was going to say, does it hold like
imbuing it into
so that's then like literally, is that going to project bad energy? Is that what would happen?
It'll transmute.
Or would it clean the good energy and then turn it bad? Right?
No. So it will just take on a small portion of that individual's energy signature, much like water does. Like water being programmable.
Yeah.
It'll take that energy on and input it into the device. But the very nature of the device is that it's going to try and transmute that charge anyway from the emotional aspect of it. That being said, though, if they're not created correctly in the first place with enough metal to be able to do that induction matrix process where it's bouncing the ion back and forth, it's not actually going to have much in the way of an effect on you as an individual because the area of effect won't be very large. Like even with a correctly built one like this, it's about roughly the size of my palm, a little bit bigger, maybe about 7-8 centimeters on the sides. But with the amount of metals and crystals that are inside something like that, it'll be putting out a field of roughly about 20-30 meters or thereabouts. So it'll cover most of a house. But depending upon how much EMF is being generated in the house, much like a water filter, that if it has, say, 10 litres an hour capability of scrubbing, but you're trying to force 20 litres through it, it's going to cause a bit of an overflow and cause a mess. The same thing happens energetically with a device like that. If it's not sized correctly for the area that it's in, it's going to max itself out. It'll do the best that it can, but it's still going to have a bit of an overflow. Yeah. So a larger device is better for a whole house if you've got just a singular device in the house. But that's the cool thing with it. I mean, like it was Tower Busters, something like that. You can make 12 of these and grid your whole house, make it a geometric pattern if you want.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a relatively effective way to grid a whole house.
Cool. And it's fourth wise man. Anyone else? Cameron is the wonderful man sitting next to me talking from Organite Creations Australia. You'll find him on Facebook and Instagram, that is.
Fourth one's who is Cameron? I mean, oh, the other way.
Yes.
I see the comment.
That's it,
No,
yeah.
my name's Cameron. Hi.
Cameron. So you can find his work, and he basically makes Orgonite and a similar.
Yeah, lost a few of the contracts that I had.
But before that, he got into researching all this and how to make it, and swatting up and basically informing himself. And so he had something to fall back on when everything else sort of fell apart. He was like, oh well, I've got this I can do. Very similar to me when everything fell apart and I couldn't do much. So whoever you are out there, just if you've got passions, man, get into it. If you don't have time to do it now, you never know what'll happen, right? With a bit of intention. Because now we're at the farm, we're in the dome. Cameron's been travelling for 3 weeks?
A little under 3 weeks.
Yeah, so we're both world travellers now. He's been cruising around doing festivals and shows and markets and things and selling creations and teaching people. So if you want to know about all that, because he's going to be doing it again in the future, go check him out on Facebook where he posts all his wares and courses and things.
Just on the history of I basically was working for Telstra. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this.
Oh, I don't know this story.
Yeah,
Do tell.
So
I used to work for Telstra too.
Oh yeah, nice. So until the age of 24, I was working for Telstra. I was working with the NBN rollout. I was in the call centres. The call centre was Vodafone. But yeah, in the shops, and I was getting irradiated from being in the shops all the time, and four different Wi-Fi signals in the shop that I was in, plus all of the active
people coming in,
all the people that were walking in. So I got completely irradiated.
Oh, man.
And that was the height of my depression and the height of my weight gain at that point as well. But yeah, when they put a 4G tower up the road from me, at that point I became an insomniac. I wasn't sleeping. I was in bed 10, 12 hours a day, but I wasn't hitting REM sleep at all. So after about 8-9 months of that, nearly being driven insane, a friend of mine showed me a little phone buddy thing that he had in the back of his phone, which was Organite. And he told me to look into Slim Sperling. Look into Sperling and look into Wilhelm Reich and see what I could come up with. And so, don't tell me you broke it. Oh no! Apologies, Stephen.
Sorry, Stephen. I think I just knocked it on my chair and it broke. Broke it. But this, get it for your phones. Will it still work?
Yeah.
It'll still work.
Yeah. It'll just be
What if I put glue in there? Like, will that stuff it up? If I get a bit of super glue,
that should be fine.
Should be fine. All right, there you go. All is saved.
So he showed me one of the little phone buddies like that. He told me to look into Wilhelm Reich and Slim Sperling, and so I did, and ended up coming up with a couple pyramids about that sort of size. Put one on either side of my bedside table, and within 2 weeks I was sleeping again. Like it blew me away. I was still very materialistic in my mindset at that point. I didn't understand it. I couldn't think that such subtle energies like this can have such a major effect on our biology. I didn't know what to do. And it took me a little while to even accept that. Oh, okay, what I'm experiencing is actually happening. It's like if you don't sleep for 9 months, it pretty much drives you nuts. Like it was very hard to get up over that hill. But as soon as I got these in my life, like it has literally changed my life over the period of time.
Wow.
That was why I got into the space. Was not for doing it as a business or anything like that. It was because it personally helped me so much.
So it affects it.
Then I found out about the gifting movements, what Dom and Carol Croft were doing. So I hit up pretty much every cell phone tower in Tasmania.
There you go. Anyone in Tasmania, thank Cameron for your good vibes out there transmuting everything for you. But this everything, we can all do this, right? And especially in the house. And you know, in your workplace, if you've got kids, because, I mean, it's, you know, we know what's going on with the bad vibes, the bad radiation that's everywhere. What's going on about our names?
Oh, one other thing. You were saying about the box. The
box.
Yeah,
oh, being in the box.
Yeah. So just a random tidbit of information, but like the reason that Freemasons use that checkerboard floor, right? You know, it's of course the duality of it, but it's a checkerboard. They're all squares. And the 90-degree angle, right? That particular angle, right? We use that in pretty much all of our construction and stuff like that now. In particular for all of the brutalism type architecture.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the 90 degrees, whenever they're using the 90 degrees, because you look at the old world buildings and they were all like hexagons. And, in different angles, different pitches on the roofs and all that. But when you live in a space that is 90-degree angles, you're literally boxed in. And so that's why we find it so hard to change our ways, because when you're living in a box like that, it doesn't give you much room to be able to explore outside the box, outside the
And is that because of the angles, everything's constantly reflected back at us?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a feedback loop.
Yeah. So it's like restrictive rather than expansive.
Yeah.
What about a dome?
Completely different again.
Completely different. There you go. Get a dome home, guys. Don't be a square.
The only right angles that you have in here are on the windows and the doors. So like, I mean, you can't really get around that unless you want to turn it into a hobbit home.
No, and it's made of hexagons and pentagons. Is that good?
Yeah, each of those have their own energetic signature as well.
And a circle.
Yeah.
Yes, but I've got a few leaks. I've got to do a bit of work. I may have made a mistake. It's all good though. It's all good. Got to get a little bit of. We got rain, which was good.
It was interesting because I had somebody cancel because of the fires that were here, and they didn't want to take the risk of coming. And then like.
The contrail buster.
I got
you got so much stuff in your trailer. Like, you drive down the road and all the clouds part, or all the good ones come in if you need rain.
I got basically a ley line nodal point in the back of my ute.
A ley line nodal point in the back of your ute.
Being speaking in hyperbole, but I may as well have with the amount of good energy that I have in the tubs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's a traveling Orgonite factory. He is. And we should all travel more. Travel's good. And yes, I've seen people asking, I am back from the USA. The adventure is over for this time, but I'm off to Perth in 3 days for a couple of weeks, so I don't get a rest yet. And then coming back, I'll be back by December. And then Kelly will be back. Kelly's in China having fun. So she's got many stories. So yeah, there's lots going on. All right. Any questions? What else do we want to talk about? 17 Joy, how you going? Thank you. Zal Mox says hello. Bad shirt twins. Oi, man, I'm offensive. I'm offended by that. Did you hear that? Bad shirts.
Bad shirt twins. Really?
Come on.
I thought this was in style.
Gift your games out. Yeah, man. We thought we were fashionable. Jeez.
Needs some more colour. Harsh. I'll go get my hemp shirt that's like bright orange with all of the other bits and pieces on it. All of the.
Man, I need an auto shirt. I need to fix. Is she catching up with Arbus Albo? Who? What? Who's she? I don't get it. Airbus Albo? Frozen? Oh, joyful noise. I have no idea what you people are talking about. You're confusing me. I just know that Zal owes us an apology. What do you reckon?
Why Zal? Oh, for the shirts.
The shirts? I mean, come on.
Whatever.
Jeez.
I'm not for everybody.
No. We're unique. We're not unique. We're unique. Yeah, so what else do we want to talk about? Like I said, this is completely improv. If you've got a question, let us know.
Please excuse the Starlink lag on the canal.
Oh, yes.
On the cell phone today. Aren't
No, we are on Starlink. Is it lagging? Let us know, because we were going to run off the phone, which is normally better, and it wasn't working. So they may have restricted my data on my unlimited data plan. So I'm going to have to call them, and stern words are needed. Sal says sorry. That's okay, mate.
Wes
We forgive you.
she's in China, so is Albo. I'm referring, I guess he's referring
Oh.
to Kelly.
Yeah, who's Albo?
Albanese.
Oh,
The-
is he the Prime Minister?
I was going to say, like, I don't even know if
Is he?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I've
sure.
heard his name. I think something happened. Like, who was the Prime? I don't even know. Who was
Scotty?
before him? Oh,
Scotty
yeah,
Morrison?
that kid that looked like the fat kid from kindergarten. That dude. Scott
We've heard that
Morrison.
many of them.
Oh my god.
And none of them have actually been elected in like the last like 4 or 5 or something. It's ridiculous.
No.
Like,
Allegedly.
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 Strike.
Okay, so he's there too. All right. Wow, maybe he's having dinner with Dan, right? Dan, the comedy man.
Albo is getting his next orders.
Mm.
Yeah.
What, like fried rice?
Nah, Szechuan chicken, man.
Szechuan chicken?
Szechuan chicken.
Oh, come on. What about bloody sweet and sour? Sweet and
That's
sour pork, man. Come on. That's the go-to dish. Do you know they don't really have restaurants for Asian food in America and the USA? They just have like Panda Express, a chain. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very
Sal
different culture.
saying, yeah, a bit laggy.
Bit laggy. Sorry.
Jared commented on our shirts. He actually likes them. See?
All right. Yeah.
Not
So
for
there you go.
everybody.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Jared. Hello, Anne. How you going? From Skinsuit Manual. Nice to see you. Hope all is well in Japan. Over there.
Fourth one. What was the air sense you may or may not have picked up on while in the US? Everywhere has particular scent aura.
Scent, like as in smell. That's an interesting question.
Driving through Texas, it wasn't a whole bunch of cowtards.
No, Florida definitely, because it's so tropical, had like a tropical scent. Like it was very heavy, like natural, watery. Does that make sense?
Like rainforest.
Yeah, rainforesty, that kind of, So that was cool. The other states smell like a car because I was sitting in one.
12 hours a day.
Yeah, I didn't really get a lot. I didn't pay that much attention to my olfactory senses. I should do that more, shouldn't I? Gee. Yes, sorry, that was a really bad answer. Not much in Texas. I don't know. I'm going to have to ponder that one, I think. It's the city. Like Barracks Arch used to be a star fort. That was like a citadel from a star fort. And there's lots of old, on Barrack Street, there's about 5 castles. So there's still good old buildings in Perth. So there's lots around, the train stations, Midland up around that area, some of the old pubs up there, the old train lines. There's a train tunnel, again, I don't know what it's called, out in the middle of nowhere. Been going. I don't even know. It doesn't tell us. Are we back? Sorry, guys. It's blame Elon Musk. I'm very sorry. Yes, I will reprimand my phone company and get this sorted out. I thought it was all doing well. Wayne, hello. Calistoga Refried, how you doing? How can I build an Organite bush hut? Can I put some true Oz quartz at the final and arrange the quartz in a cone-shaped base? So can I put central Oz quartz at the finish? Oh, at the what? Finial. What's the finial? I
So
think you're saying like to build, like to put them in the foundation
yeah,
around the bottom in a circle.
I guess there is a technology known as bubblecrete or
Aircrete.
bubble tech, but it's based on concrete. So
Yeah,
instead of using resin as your insulator, you basically make up the same as what you would with Organite. All the other componentry is the same, but the insulating element, instead of being resin, it's concrete. So people make
And that works.
yeah, they make giant big cones of it. I mean, it's not a technology I'm overly familiar with. It's
So
just a byproduct of
how
having
much-
been in the Orgonite space.
And how much effect does the shape, the geometric shape, like could you make panels out of that?
You could. I mean, they'd be relatively thin and quite heavy.
I'm just thinking, could you put, like, literally make, a heart, but just the outside of it? So you have stuff around the bit, and then you have panels up, and turn it into a heart or a.
Yeah. It'd be
Would that function as one that once it was done? Would it function as one sort of unit?
if you were to
You'd have to.
weave them.
Okay, yeah. Just have to have connection points, basically.
You basically have to have like rebar and stuff like that.
That
to
they
join.
slip into each other. Yeah.
So and then go back to concrete to join them together. So it's the rebars insulated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see why not. It'd just be a very sort of expensive endeavor. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen applications where people will take crushed quartz, like powdered quartz, and red iron oxide, and so they'll paint their house with a primer, and then they'll take a mixture of the resin, red iron oxide, and quartz, and then roll that and paint their walls with it, and then go over it with a regular paint. And so that in of itself, the middle layer there is a Orgonite matrix, and so it'd be a thin one, but it'd be all over
Like a field around the whole house.
Yeah. So I mean, you could definitely do something like that.
Wow.
That'd probably be a little bit cheaper and easier than actually building the entire structure out of Orgonite.
Wow. I remember when I was like younger, between my 20s, and we were working on a house, and it was like these very high-end kind of units, and we were doing the walls and stuff, and like the plastering, and we did a couple of walls where we were mixing gemstones.
Yeah.
Like little gemstones into the mix, and then like plastering the walls with them.
Uh-huh.
Like one was like purple, and one was red, I think.
Nice.
They were pretty cool. I don't know if would that have any effect.
It wouldn't have any physioelectric effect,
No.
but just
cool.
the gemstones in themselves would have their own.
What does a
voice.
gemstone do then by itself?
Well, take citrine, for example. It's an abundance stone. It's in the quartz family, but the particular signature of it helps promote abundance, whether that be monetarily, physically, or it's basically just trying to get back to that
Citrine.
energetic balance. Right? It has its own signature, which then resonates with the chakra system, and basically just tries to bring it back into alignment. Think of it as like a signature.
So yellow
template.
solar plexus, right, which is that gut feeling.
Right. And so in turn, you would then be able to follow your gut properly and intuit what you need to do to actually get ahead. So think of it like your tuning forks, right? Your tuning forks each have a different tune, which is then attached, to the third eye, you got something, solar plexus, chakra system. And by striking those chimes, that in turn then is putting that frequency as a resonant frequency that then aligns with whatever the signature is. And crystals do the same sort of thing.
So they're on okay, that makes sense, because that's why it's yellow, because it's a similar frequency to the yellow chakra, just different expressions of a frequency, basically.
Yeah, you think of it like a blueprint, right? It's the base blueprint that you then, in turn, is a sympathetic response within you to try and bring it back to
and like
regularity.
attracts like, so they. Interesting. We were talking before about the They Live glasses.
The dicyanide.
What is it?
I can't
Dicyanide.
pronounce it properly. Dicyanin.
Dicyanin.
I'm pretty sure. I did Y-E.
Oh, okay. So.
D-Y-E. But this particular dye was figured out in, I think it was 1942 that I read.
World War II.
The end of World War II. And is banned pretty much everywhere. Like you can't get it. It's very hard. But in effect, what the chemist that synthesized it was, what he found was that when you placed it between two glass panels, it created a lens that you could look through. So you could see auras and stuff like this.
Energy fields.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's literally that they live glasses.
And then, so even then we have the story from Vietnam when all the fighter pilots were wearing night vision goggles that have to be red as well. And they started seeing demons and stuff and all, started going crazy. So it's pretty interesting that it's red. Does anyone know, like the purple glasses, isn't there purple glasses or lenses that have some effect as well? I'm sure I've heard it, can't remember exactly, but we were thinking, like red is the bottom spectrum, right? The edge, right? Infrared is the edge of our vision. And it's also like the lowest chakra. We think it's the lowest vibration. And so red, does that let you see more of that, right, into that spectrum where the lower entities live maybe? And the purple might show you that's ultraviolet at the other end. So that was a little conversation in our theory.
Did I tell you about the Healing Expo where there was a clairvoyant that had an 11:11 chime that got struck, and all of a sudden just a big burst of white light was appearing to her, and she could literally see Archangel Michael and all of the other angels around that particular, like the 11:11 chime, like just calling them in.
What's the 11:11 chime?
It's one of the angel chimes. Yeah, you've got all of the different associated, like 111, 222, and then of course you've got things like 432 hertz or 528 hertz being some of the solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah.
It's just another frequency, but it's an extremely high frequency, being 1111 hertz, megahertz. So it's way up there.
Okay, because that's what the one I've got is supposed to do.
For the tuning fork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very high. I don't know what it is. It's
high pitched.
4,096
hertz. Or sorry. Yeah, so that's even higher than the 1111.
That's high, man.
So 1111 is literally 1111 hertz.
Yeah, hertz.
Or megahertz.
Yeah, guys. Calls in angels, and this thing here, like, sends the signal out. It's supposed to be tapped on a crystal, though. There's one in there.
Don't die.
Don't touch
Three
my
hours standing there, bro.
Yes.
God. Mongolian land.
Oh, J Dreamers. Hey, man, how you doing? Welcome. We're talking about Organite and things like that, piezoelectric forces, frequencies. But, yes, hopefully the stream's going okay. We've had a few freezes. All right. Hello.
So, Jay, with alcoholic solutions of variously colored dyes were helped to train the eyes to this particular type of
okay, there, yeah.
So
okay.
So it's able to see the larger part of the EM spectrum, and I'm guessing part of that would be perhaps auroras and stuff like that as well.
And so the normal spectrum of visible light. Treatment of the screen noticeably involved dicyanin, a toxic coal tar originally used in infrared sensitive photography. Well, there you go. Thank you, Jay. Wealth of information. Of course, as always. Check out Jay's channel as well.
Oh, he's still got more here.
Always doing good stuff.
The treatment of the screens notably involved dicyanin. Oh, no, sorry, I'm just reading the same.
You're reading the same one?
My apologies.
Fourth one. It's what retains the spoon that bends.
Huh. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Ooh,
I
deep
like that.
thoughts. It's what retains the spoon. Which, what are we talking about? An energy field retains the spoon in its spoon-like shape.
Or we're talking about the light that allows us to see it.
Oh,
I'm not
ooh.
even sure. Very
Yes.
interesting.
Tell us more.
Jordan Olafson, full body armor that knights allegedly wore for ceremonial purposes is nonsense. What makes more sense is that they wore them when using ancient tech weapons, e.g. spraying chemicals or ancient flamethrowers. And
or
the electrical...
Or energy,
stuff, yeah.
I mean, you look at chainmail, and it's a Faraday cage for a person, right? So it was a much more, electromagnetic weaponry. We've seen the pictures, like the old pictures of like the swords that seem to be shooting lightning or something out of them. Of course, we see it in everything, right? He-Man, like everyone's got a bloody sword that shoots stuff out, lightsabers. So, I mean, the tech that they had, I think, advanced than what we're told, obviously, because armor makes no sense if you're smashing swords into it. It's not a protector physically. It'd be more, geez, I mean, it's heavy, right?
I mean, they show us in the movies too, like lightsabers. Like
lightsabers.
Energy swords. So
yeah, exactly.
Also, the video that pops to my mind is the cymatics video that was done, that was popularized a few years back, where the guy is using a Tesla coil and he's literally in a chainmail suit and he's just jumping up next to the Tesla coil and having himself electrocuted. Like,
I don't think I saw that.
Showing it. Yeah, but the whole thing was based on a video that was showing how audio frequency has an effect on things like water or
all those.
Which he's then done a whole bunch of other like music instruments.
Yeah, I've seen that one
with all the flames and stuff.
That one,
and he then combined all of that together in order to make one big film clip of it.
Yeah, and we've all seen the picture of Tesla, right?
Sitting inside
a Faraday cage, holding it. Is that where he's holding the bulb, or he's doing all the lightning every? It's interesting, Martin might say they all had fascies, right? Electric weapons. The fascies.
We were discussing that the other day. I personally think it's an electromagnetic railgun that shot a projectile rather than actually a electric.
At the end of people, like handheld cannon.
Blunt force projectile.
Yeah. So who knows? But it's not what they tell us, man. That's what I know. It wasn't bloody knights on horses with swords walking around in the mud, bloody smacking each other. That's just silly. Martin has shown him pictures with knights with electricity coming out of the swords. He definitely has. For sure to repel energy. Dragons electromagnetic fire. Ooh. Plasma discharges. I'm sure Jay's got something to say about that. 0 point when a light is not on, off the void. Aether. What? When a light is not on or off the void.
So 0 point equals when a light is not on or off the void. Aether.
I have jet lag. Sorry, that's why I'm not very clever tonight. Because normally I'm really clever.
The fourth wise man, the spoon retained, not contained. It's not held within its own. It's held from the eye of the observed beholder.
Okay.
So I suppose like quantum physics, it depends upon the observer.
Yeah, exactly. The double slit
experiment. The consciousness has an effect on what is actually seen, what is observed.
Jay says electric aura image Kirlian photography is a collection of photographic techniques used to capture the electric coronal discharges. And you were saying before that people have been taking what?
So the cyanin lens shows it's got a moving magnetic field. But also Kirlian photography is even better at showing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You were saying that you take photos of all the Organite and the Tensor tools and that, and you can see the fields, the energy fields, right? The energy flow, and see what's actually happening.
There's a very good demonstration of it. I think it's about a 5-second video that is on my Instagram that is actually a video format of the Kirlian lens with a Organite plate, charging plate underneath of it, and some Tensor tools on top of it. And it actually is able to visually show the movement that is created by the field going around. So that's a very interesting technology to be able intertwine with this.
Yeah, it gives some validity. What's the effect of like interacting fields? If you had 4 like next to each other, would that affect because they're all like interacting with each other's fields? Would that do anything? Not really.
If anything, it's amplifying
the
the thing with those, like I was saying, if you actually put them in a grid, like you take 4 of the tower busters and put them slightly overlapping, you'd end up creating a Vesica Pisces in the middle of it, but like 4.
So if you looked into like sacred geometry and these like shapes, like we were just saying, like if you like put like a whatever, right, a circle with a triangle in it, under your house, would that be more powerful than just putting random spots?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, look at the example of the pyramid, right? The pyramid has its own shape, which is the golden geyser, which is intricately linked to the heart chakra based on the geometry of that angle. We were discussing the Prussian, the taller pyramids, 76 degree, or you've got the Nubian 72 degree
ones,
as well.
Yeah.
And so those ones are linked to the crown chakra and have food preservation qualities and things like this. Really good for sprouting seeds and stuff inside as well.
Yes.
But that's based simply on the
cleansing
geometry.
water,
So
what are the more like the Cheops and Giza ones? What are they for?
The Giza's this one here.
This one,
So that's the 45 degree. The Cheops, I'm not actually sure upon the degree. I'm drawing a blank on that one at the minute. But,
I think it's 68.
I think it's more close to an equilateral than anything. Any of the other ones anyway. But specifically as to what that is linked to, I'm not sure.
All right, so this isn't linked specifically to any function or
that one.
The tall ones are the mind. Yeah, what's this?
So this one's the heart.
That's and that's the preferred shape for a pyramid for Orgonite, right?
Yes, no.
No.
Well, I mean, it just depends. If you want a more spiritual device, you probably want to look at something like the 72 degree, which is the taller ones, because they're linked to the crown and the third eye, whereas this one here is linked to the heart. So if you want to look at heart-related issues in regards to not being able to follow your heart or follow your passions and stuff like that, that would be more ideal for that in regards to the spirituality aspect of it.
That's interesting. So why is this? Shouldn't that have a higher frequency because it's contained in a smaller space?
How so?
Well, what were we talking about before with like lengths of wood when you're making like xylophones and tuning things? You were saying that basically the flat is the time. And so depending on the length is how many waves can get through that. So if you shorten the time or the length, obviously you get a higher frequency because those waves have to fit into a shorter space. I was just thinking that's shorter than the one than the Nubian one, obviously, which is more for your mind, you would think would be a higher.
So what I was discussing in regards to the lengths was in regards to the tensor tools, which are the individual twisted bits of copper.
Yeah.
Those it's based on the lengths of that. So that's intricately linked to the geometry of the tensor rings themselves.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the angle, because the angle is something different.
Okay.
So you've got the lengths versus angle.
So it's more to do with it's still a contained space, I guess, isn't it? Is that what that's creating, like a contained space with the angles, basically? Or
I'm not quite sure what you mean by contained space, but it's creating a footprint that is basically the 5-pointed star. So, but like the angle of the pyramid is what is linked to that resonance that I'm talking about, that links to the heart chakra. So the taller pyramid being the 76 degree, that's bigger than the 45 or 68 degree, so it's a higher frequency because of that. That's why it's linked to the crown and the third eye as opposed to the heart.
Jeez, man, this stuff's very intricate, man. Bloody hell. It's a science, I tell you. So, has anyone got any questions? I need to get my spectacles on.
Says all pyramids world over are Anunaki calling cards of control.
Oh.
Not mine.
And what about this one? The Anunaki going to turn up. We're calling them.
Maybe I'm
those who came from heaven. But I mean, what are the Anunnaki, right? Those who from the heavens came. Who knows? Were they the ones weren't they the ones that brought civilization? They say. But I mean, I don't. Bosnian Pyramid. Anyone want to come? I'm going. April 5th next year. You won't link below, but hopefully someone will post it because I haven't put it in there. But that's Dr. Sam has been studying on that. He's got research teams out, all the latest stuff, and there's good vibrations coming off that thing to the point where people who've got health issues take trips to the pyramid to go underneath it in the tunnels, and they get spontaneous healing. So it doesn't sound like a bad thing. There's many stories, though, isn't there? Many stories. We don't really know what's gone on in the past. The biggest story is his story. Let's hope you get some free energy. West Oz. Oh, sorry. What happened with West Oz?
I think Joy's responding to somebody.
Yes.
West Oz.
I know, right? We're just jumping into people's conversations. How rude of us. Triangle 60 degrees by 60 degrees by 60 degrees equals 666. Well, I mean, what is 666? Is it carbon? Is it the number of man?
I was going to say, it can be argued that it's us.
It's us, yeah, exactly. That could be argued. It could be argued. There's lots of things. But I mean, the thing about the numbers is,
are they inherently bad?
No, well, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. It's like all these things, they've all come from knowledge of sacred numbers, the kind of stuff we're talking about in different, frequencies and that. So, of course, if they don't want us to use it and to look into it, they're just going to tell us it's evil. What is evil? What's evil? Apart from live backwards. If you live your life backwards, you're evil, maybe.
It's the inversion.
It's just an inversion, but I mean, like evil, it's an interesting topic, isn't it? Because all these people that the days who've put us all through these last 3 years, could be looked at as evil, or they could be looked at as the people who woke the most humans up in the shortest time in the last 2,000 years. Right? Good's come out of it, in my opinion. So, like. Is there ultimately even a good or a bad, like a good or an evil, or is everything just interesting?
I think. Yeah, but
in the bigger picture,
experiences build us up to be the people that first to learn from. That has something.
So people who get cancer. Change their whole lives, heal themselves, and come out the other end saying, "Wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me." So it's perspective, really.
That's why we're here. I think is just to learn lessons, and if we don't want to learn those lessons, well, then we get knocked about.
They get bigger. The calling card gets bigger. Yeah. And ultimately, if everything was perfect, no one would be learning anything, right? That's the problem. We need adversity to push us forward. Get forged in fire. But the main thing is, if you think everything's evil, that's in you. That thought and that frequency and that vibration is in you. It's not in anyone else. If you walk down the street and point at someone and go, "That guy's a dickhead," or whatever, if he doesn't hear you, he doesn't know. Know what you're saying. That's all in you. So be very careful of what you're holding inside. That if you think everything's evil and bad, well, you might just be attracting that. Just saying.
And the body doesn't understand the physical trauma versus the relived trauma literally happening within the brain. So, like, if you've gone through a traumatic event, the body doesn't know any different. It literally will start acting as if that has happened.
Yeah.
And so you end up literally reliving the physical aspects of it every time you go back to it.
Yeah.
And instead of just observing it, acknowledging that it happened, and stop identifying with it, then because you're in the other state where you're just constantly reliving it, the body then reacts as such. And so you end up having those lessons come about over and over and over again.
Man. I mean, everything... The only constant is change, right? But if you keep thinking the same thoughts, it just keeps changing to the same thing. You just go round and round in circles, right? Creating the same thing. But I mean, it's an interesting point because, what's one of the, the things they first teach you in, self-help or mindfulness, whatever that, you want to call it, like how powerful visualization is. If you're using, but it's powerful whichever way you use it. If you're not controlling it and you're just running through all the bad stuff, very powerful, just as powerful as if you're, focusing on a future that you want to create. So yeah, man, be the master. Stand guard every day at the door of your mind. You've got to be careful. You can't let every thought in. You got to kick the bad ones out, man.
Become the master of your own mind.
Become the master, and then you'll become the master of your own destiny. Or so they say. Lucy Rose, looks like you're in a clay adobe style casa. Yeah, it is. Well, it's that style. It's fiberglass.
Casa del Camp.
Yeah, Casa del Camp. It's a dome. It's I can't even 6 meters wide. I think I can't remember how big it is. Probably 33 square meters. Yeah, right. Clip that one. Illuminate. Yeah. No, it's cool. It's just fiberglass panels. I've been in here now about 6 or 7 weeks. So I was away and not in it for like 4 weeks. Came back and it was still here, which was good.
Didn't blow away.
Yeah, man. Got a little sitting area, big enough for people. But I've got a yurt which I need to put up, and then I can have a bedroom, a big bedroom, and make this more of a living area. Maybe my office in my yurt. I don't know. Expand. I'm expanding the house, man. Expanding. Living off grid here. If anyone wants to donate a really nice big battery, I'll take it. My solar panels. We are going from carbon to crystalline. Before he.
He is in
He.
Christ coming back?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I certainly think that more people are living in Christ consciousness now.
Yeah.
They've shaken awake in the last few years.
Shaken all
We
over.
are all co-creators here. Thoughts are truly things, and it's true. Life is what you make it. I've often thought that parasites don't just come in physical form. I think that we have energetic leech parasites that exist in the thought realm, and
God, is it unfrozen? Yep, you're back. Oops. Talk to the people, Cameron. Sorry, I'm just plugging the lights.
I'm not even sure where it cut out. But yeah, just to reiterate what I was saying, the Christ consciousness on the planet seems to have risen, and there are a lot more people that are coming into the mastery of their own mind and actually taking action in their own lives to benefit themselves over longer periods of time. But the other notion that I was putting forth was that parasites aren't just physical. I think that there are such things as mind viruses, or, for a lack of a better term, mind leeches or something like that exist purely as energetic thought forms that try to invade our antenna, which is the brain, to because I've had intrusive random thoughts that I just literally don't know where they're coming from at times. It's just like, hang a minute, no, I'm not going to listen to that. But and the flip side of that is intuition. That gut feeling is like, I should stay here for the X amount of time. I don't need to rush or whatever it is. And then you realize, and then you realize, oh, okay, cool. Well, the gut intuition, like with Max, was saying about how he didn't want to leave the US, and then all of a sudden, Hurricane Max hits his house. Like, unreal, the intuition that some people have when they get that gut feeling.
If you're listening to yourself and you're connected, But mind viruses for sure, man. Like, I agree. Check out the work of Jerry Marzinski if you haven't heard of him before. But all these illnesses and things. I mean, even pharmaceutical, right? Pharmacia, looking at that. This is all. We know about the pharmaceutical industry. It all seems to be to open us up and make us more susceptible to these kinds of mind viruses, doesn't it? Like weakening our physical and mental system. So yeah, man. I mean, meditation's good. Yeah, I mean, my mind's much quieter these days after meditating a lot.
It's like a good way to defrag the human computer.
And just being out in space, away from, I think that's a big one, being away from chaos, too much stimulus, because we can only process so many thoughts a day. What are we supposed to have? Is it 80,000, but we can only process 6,000 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
So, and that's why we don't even know it. We don't see the world as it really is, but the more space you have and the less unwanted stimuli, then the less, I think, mind viruses and crap you have to deal with. But of course, you've got to deal with them when they come up. Anne was in the chat before. I don't know if she's still there. And there's ways to get rid of these as well. I used to kick mine into the sun and I got told off. You're supposed to get rid of them with love, apparently. Put them in boxes that reflect love back to them and send them off to the universe. And then you just do all this with your mind. It works, man. It works.
So you don't kick them off into the sun?
No, I used to put them in like barrels and put concrete on them and stuff, and put them in another barrel and put like resin on them, and then kick them into the sun.
This is like through visualization.
Through visualization, if I just got like a random thought or a voice that was negative, I'd grab it and get rid of it, and it would literally disappear, for a couple of weeks, and then another one would come along. But maybe they're just scared, right? Maybe they don't like going into the sun. But now I try to be nicer, right? Got to be love, right? Free Soul Hibby, nice to see you again. Hello, thanks for being here. Kimberly F, hello, thanks for being here. Lucy Rose, no, that's someone else's conversation. I feel so rude sometimes, just getting in, butting into other people's conversations. Ice Bar, oh, Jethro, man. Jethro, how you doing? Jethro, of course, drove me to the airport, got me to America, helped with everything. And we had an ice bath. Saturday, my first day back in Australia. Well, no, that was the next morning. We had an ice bath. We had a barbecue. Someone drank a beer, and then I got a car bogged. Jethro's car, not really bogged, but stuck in the mud. So I was back in Australia, man. Yes, ice bath, man. What did I do? I did 13 seconds, man. Yeah, man. Eat your heart out, Wim Hof. Take that. It's very, very cold. A copyright term, what? A copyrighted term, Organite. Michael Stephen. I don't know. Is it copyrighted?
The term Organite was...
Doesn't that come from William Reich?
No, so Orgone Energy.
Orgone Energy,
is what William Reich was looking through. Organite is a name that was given to it. I'm not even sure if it was Don and Carol Croft. But I forget the name of the individual. I don't think it was Don and Carol Croft, but yeah.
It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't make any difference unless they've got a company it just means other companies can't call them. It's not like we can't walk around and say Cadbury and Kraft.
Exactly.
It's like...
No, but I think that they're referring to the fact that I do, in fact, sell a product, and so I need to basically say that they're orgone pyramids rather than Organite because that is a copyrighted thing.
Well,
But frankly, the fella that did that, I don't think he's even really around anymore. So I don't think he's going to be suing anybody anytime soon. But
and if you went to Organite, I think he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was in it for the money, by the sounds of it.
Well, it's a bit weird to copyright it.
It'd be like trying to patent something that somebody else made as well. Because Don and Carol Croft are the people that came up with the induction matrix of the resin metal crystal. So he basically like took their idea and then put his like stamp
Smack
on
on
it,
it.
and then said nobody else can do it. And it's
Even though they've been doing it and I just stole it.
yeah, pretty much.
Jeez, man, it's a common tactic, that one. Is he Elon Musk? Is that who it was? Apparently Elon Musk did that. So did, what's that cyborg's name? Mark Zuckerberg.
It's a
So you
story
just get
time
other people's
anymore.
ideas and, you know, change the names, like the CEO name to their own. Things like that. Allegedly YouTube. Yeah, you are right. I make and sell orgon. Yes, you're right. Orgon pendants. There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a
Yeah, it's like
one
a
of the
business thing. We don't want to get
things that, so you don't get in trouble with the law. It's like, well, unless I've actually caused harm to somebody, I don't care because they don't actually have a claim
pan
in
in
common law
company
against me.
is
So
the commerce. The pan in company is the
commerce joinder.
pan is in like the god Pan the trickster god. I don't get it.
I mean, I understand what you mean by commerce joinder, but
What's a commerce joinder?
so
Like super?
well, take the license for example.
Yeah.
If you claim that you are the straw man and give them joinder, that's the contract.
So the joinder is joining you to the fictional entity, so
right.
they can slap you in jail and
basically
steal from you.
Yeah, but it's a commercial term in regards to any kind of contract. So if
So
you know,
everything
we
is
write
consent. People don't consent.
but like, you know, if we were to write out a contract with terms and we both signed it, that's joinder.
Okay.
Right.
So like a marriage would be joinder.
In effect.
Well, they're a legal. They're all legal, like business.
That's all well and
contracts
good,
now, yeah.
but there are forms of joinder that don't require explicit consent. You know, no signature, etc. Right? So it's a verbal contract.
Yeah.
And that's what they trick us
Oh,
into.
so this is what the police try and do to you on the side of the road.
Right, by using their legalese, yes.
Ah, so a good question. If you get pulled to ask keep 2 dictionaries in the car. Ask them which one blacks and one normal, Oxford. Ask them which one they're talking, which language are they speaking.
Sorry, sir, I'm not comprehending. What are you saying? Are you talking from this dictionary or this dictionary? Are we talking English or Black's Law?
English. Change the frequency, change the world. I agree.
It's probably not good to play, legal games on the side of the road with somebody that's got a gun. So.
Yes. Go to England if you want to do that, because police don't have guns. But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, we need to get out and do this stuff, though. Don't discourage people. Get out and very anarchist people.
I'm saying perhaps,
overthrow the government, allegedly.
I'm not suggesting that. No, but it obviously depends on your own level of
that's
ability.
the thing.
Yeah,
if you're going to drive without a license, make sure that you're ready and prepared to talk to probably 2, imposing dudes who have guns on the side of the road, because it may happen.
I mean, personally, I would just ask for the paperwork and then take it to court. At least that way I'm not having to be interrupted in my day, going about doing my own business, and deal with it on my terms.
So asking for paperwork, that's not a form of.
No, well, I mean, if they're gonna fine you, they're gonna give you the paperwork anyway.
So you say, "Are you fining me?" And they'll say, "Yes, I give you the paperwork."
I guess.
Get out of here, buster. Go and bust someone else. Bloody police. Policy officers, that's what they are. Cambell, this is where legalese flows. Yeah, I know, right? Within, yeah. Well, basically, you have to know who you are and understand that no one has, jurisdiction over you in your life. No one gets to make rules. If they think they do, ask to see the signed document from God, the Creator, that gave them this wonderful power. Organite is copyrighted by Karl Hans. Karl Hans Wetz.
1991.
There you go. Thank you, Michael.
I knew the name. As soon as I saw it, I knew the name. I just forgot.
For those selling independence. So be careful, guys, or Hans will get you. Hans. When Hans gets his Hans on you. So horrible what they do to people just practicing science. Yes. What's that? Arthur Pendragon. It's King Arthur. Arthur Pendragon. Nice to have you here. Are you the first or the second King Arthur? Or was there 3? No, there was more than one apparently. That's all here.
What he was saying happened to Peter Brock and Reich to
put that Peter Brock. Is there a conspiracy?
measure. But yeah, he had what was known as an engine polarizer. So the engine polarizer was a little square box that was stainless steel that had a cavity in the middle of it that contained 2 neodymium by a clear quartz in the middle of it, a clear quartz pointer, and then encased in resin. And then that was bolted to the chassis of the vehicles. He was offering that as a what do you call it, like an add-on, like an after. Yeah, he was taking cars from Holden into his own workshop, which was an aftermarket upgrades thing before they would deliver it to the client. And he was taking original Holden vehicles. And one of the options was this Orgonite energy polarizer.
Wow.
And so, he got made out to be a cool guy. He's got, he's influencing Peter Brock.
A famous race car driver for what, 30, 40 years, won everything, and then died in a race. Gosh, probably 20 years ago now. It was actually the same week as Steve Irwin died the same week. Yeah. That was within like 3 days or something.
Actually, I remember that. Yeah, because I was actually in the States at the time, and yeah, it was kind of a bit of a national tragedy first, and then a second one. After.
Yeah. I was telling my mum, and she didn't believe me. So there you go. This stuff works. And there are people. I've seen people bolting like these looking type things on their cars. Have you seen the ones that and then people make them with a bolt in coming out? Oh.
Yeah.
Do you make it?
I make exactly.
Okay, there you go.
So basically, a little tower buster that's got a couple of the particular types of tensor rings that I put in them. A fire-based ring and a physical-based ring.
And what do they do?
Well, it creates a harmonious bubble.
So the same kind of effect as the harmonizer?
Yep. It creates a harmonious little bubble in the engine bay, which it's grounded out on the chassis of the vehicle anyway, so it's creating even a slightly larger effect across the chassis of the vehicle. But basically, it's promoting balance within the rhythmic motions of the motor, and so there's less friction in the system as an overall, and you get better performance. Wow. Same sort of idea as what Brock was doing with his engine polarizer. Yeah.
There you go, guys. If you want one of those, put a bolt on your car, go to Organite Creations Australia. Is that right? In Facebook and Instagram. All right. How long have we been going? I can't see the time here. Is it 7 o'clock?
10 past 7.
10 past 7. And I think we started. So it's about an hour and a half. I think we've been going.
An hour and 20.
An hour and 20. Doing blah blah blah. I don't know if the selling of the pyramids were few.
I don't know if he was selling the pyramids, but saw him recently, a few months probably now, on Old World, Florida. He's in architecture and makes the dome homes.
Oh, he must be cool. Who's this?
Sorry, who is this? Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt? Oh. Again, we're just jumping in the middle of your conversations, guys. Like the rude guest at a party, we're sorry. Well, dome homes are good. They're cool, man. Good energy and freaky acoustics.
Sitting up under the window just over here, you sound like you've got headphone reverb.
Yeah, man.
It's interesting.
Standing in the middle, it's like it's very strange. Lots and lots of reverb. So, which is good, I guess. So the energy is flowing in here at least. A few vortexes made.
So Jordan Olison says, is it possible that religions that speak of Armageddon and God restoring and cleansing the earth are not speaking of a God as such, but a man in power that brings forth a reset? I mean, it's
a big question, isn't it?
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the Bible's been edited, many times. Had more than half the books are taken out. And that was done by people who, the they people, right, who want to control the world, and they have clearly instigated, or at least worked with, like resets. Look into 1901, 1902. We know there was resets have happened. Were they weapons? Who knows, right? I think resets, natural resets, happen cyclically, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to try and instigate their own resets in between, hey?
Well, I mean, just look at what's happened, and I'm not going to say in where, but like there's a few recent, can I even say D?
Yeah, you can probably say Project Bluebeam type things.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Paint your roof blue. Yeah.
And
allegedly.
In Mexico, recent events that have happened, like seem engineered,
like big storms that come off the ocean, but have no water within them.
And so, I mean, these are basically mini resets in isolated areas. And so, I mean, it's entirely possible that we can see events like this in which they are manipulating the events on the ground anyway, but it's much more isolated rather than any kind of even a nation-sized event or a global event. Like isolated events throughout the years, and then sort of every few hundred years, much larger event.
Yeah, like things like Vesuvius, that was a reset for that area, and that's how we get it. Even Australia, right, with all the red dirt that fell, look into it. That's why we're covered in red dirt. That didn't affect the rest of the world, as far as we can see. So, yeah, maybe every couple of cycles, every cycle, which is what 5,600, or the big cycle, the 21,000 years. Might be big planetary resets like the precession of the equinox or the Kali Yugas. We're in the fifth sun, so I don't think all resets. It's nothing to get scared about. Just follow your gut and don't be in the wrong place at the right time, and you'll be fine. Because it's only going to hit certain places, just like Max, right? Followed his gut, wasn't there when it happened, and he lives to record another day. Allegedly. Allege, a shelf, a dogma. Well, there you go. Allegedly, though. Allegedly.
I'm got a second strike recently. So
yes. I got my second strike on my channel.
Withheld. Of
course, the first one that was only for 2 weeks has lasted about 2 years. And Jim says, active God, God. That is true. That's very rude. Everything bad, just blame God. It's not my fault. Blame the creator, man. Come on. He created stuff. Ferrous, dirt, highly grounding. Oh, ferrous dirt, iron dirt, iron foot.
Ferrous as in ferrous metal, iron.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I thought.
No.
Yeah. Ferrous, ferrous, so I guess iron and rich dirt. Ferrous is iron, isn't it?
Well,
or is it just metal?
It's referring to like a ferrous metal attraction.
Okay.
Probably red iron oxide.
Red iron oxide.
Yeah.
Is that what fell all over Australia? Is that what you're saying? I don't know.
In regards to grounding, I mean.
Grounding.
So
red dirt's better. Red, yeah.
I imagine the conductivity of the soil would be better for us as well.
Yeah, man.
So that makes so much sense to me.
That's how, of course, go out without shoes, people. That's where your soul is. You want to heal, right? You want to heal your soul? Go walk bare feet. The cycles of the reset will always be there, but some with knowledge use it to gain control over humanity. I totally agree.
Yeah. That seems somewhat self-evident at this point.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to look into the last few hundred years, the narrative doesn't make any sense. That's pretty obvious to anybody that looks at it with a critical eye. Hey.
Yeah.
So,
if you're new here, I've got about 500 videos that talk on that subject. Go and check them out. Share them around. Spread the love.
I like the analogy that the rulers are like a psychologist that is the absolute pinnacle of his field in understanding human psychology.
And
the masses of humanity are basically like little teenagers that are just coming into consciousness, and we're starting to understand what's happening around us. Some of us are a little bit more ahead and looking into things at a faster rate because we're curious about what's happening. Whereas the rest of us, there's the kid in the back that just wants to sit in the back and draw and stuff like that. He's not interested in it.
Mm.
So it's a gradual coming to knowledge, and the people that rule us have like such a ridiculous amount of knowledge up here that it creates a absurd power dynamics that
Yeah. It's like the year 12 student, like going and harassing, getting money, like tricking the kindergarten kids out of their lunch money.
Yeah.
Because they know so much more,
Yeah.
right?
Or the grandmaster chess player that goes into New York Park and just sets up and like takes everybody's money.
Just rips everyone off. Yeah.
Absolute grandmaster that just knows his way around the field so much better than anybody else that is just able to mess with them.
Just mess with them, yeah.
And laugh in the process. Like,
Clean up. Clean up. On the sonic chessboard. Know the power and beauty of thine. What? Know the power and beauty of thine will be done. Yes.
I'm just wondering what Fourth Wiseman's talking about.
What's Fourth Wise Man talking about now?
Soz, I've got black eyes.
Oh.
Telling
Are
the
you a
truth,
panda?
big booby lady in the elevator, everyone likes her.
Are you referring to like Lie Lie with Jim Carrey, that movie from whenever it was?
I don't think I've seen that.
They're in the, I don't think I've seen it either, but I've seen the scene where they're in the elevator and she's like, "Oh, it's my first day here and everyone's been so nice." And he's going, "That's because you've got huge." And then he comes out with like black eyes.
Right, okay.
I don't know. Am I right? Let me know. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm left. Actually, I'm not left. If I come on here with green hair, you'll know I've left.
It's like what I was talking to you about, the MK Ultra programming is to get shaved and go blonde.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll come back with blonde hair, short blonde hair. I have been reprogrammed.
End up looking like Eminem.
Yeah, man. Remember when M&M's just used to be like, candy-covered chocolate?
Now it's some dude.
Now it's some dude. M&M, Marshall Mathers. In case you didn't know, that's where it comes from. The Marshall and the Mathers. If you're new, Auto makes some good videos. Thank you, Machiavelli, but I would just change that and say great videos.
Excellent. Superb.
Kimberly F. just noticed the matching shirts. Well, they're not really matching. And his is a t-shirt and mine's a shirt.
Mine's brown. His is white.
Mine's actually like palm trees and stuff. Messages in the threads, man. Blah, blah, blah,
I was
blah, blah, blah.
reading something the other day in regards to the different types of materials that we wear, and it was saying that you shouldn't blend things like different types.
Out of like lengths of material that have been cut to cubits, like, because I'm guessing, like, because shirt cotton was made of threads.
I was more
Imagine
thinking
if they're all like cut to sacred cubit length and then turn into clothes. What would that do?
I was more thinking in regards to like alternating layers, like an organic accumulator. Yeah, I know that
Edici shirt.
Matt Landman, Spiro Clothing, the creator of Frankenskies. You seen that? Yeah. So he's got his own clothing company called Spiro,
I think I've seen
and
it.
has like 5G hats, insulator bags, and stuff
I've
like that.
interviewed him. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, you'd be able to come up with something that is like an EMF repellent shirt by looking into orgone energy and the history behind it. Because it wouldn't be hard. It'd be very much the same as like an orgone accumulator box. It'd just be alternating layers of cloth fabric. But as to how you'd be able to go about doing that without creating something that was basically a sweater.
Yeah.
That'd be another question.
How could you do it? But you can make jackets and stuff out of it, or hoodies maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it'd certainly be
Fashion,
ideal.
right? Fashies. Fashion. Ooh, fascinating. That's what they used to do with jewelry, I think. That's where jewelry came from. All these crowns and stuff used to be tech, right? It doesn't mean it has to be like, free energy or shoot 'em up tech. It could just be health. Right?
Well, yeah.
It's where it is, keeps you healthy, keeps your energy in flow.
I forget who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was like a high-ranking admiral or general that basically said that something along the lines of we basically just need to convert all of our war-making technology into living.
Yeah, I know,
living
right?
technology. Like we've got everything.
And the budgets they spend
Right.
on them, and NASA maybe.
Yeah, but instead of war-making technology, you've got to start focusing on living
technology.
Things that are actually beneficial for us.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine spending our money and putting our best, brightest on just making a better life for everyone, rather than just like completely destroying someone's life, which is war, right? It's crazy, man. Crazy world we live in, but we have chosen. Oh, and Two Joy has put Cambell's Telegram group up. Yeah, I saw that we had some trolls in there. Do you want to be a moderator? Is that what they're called? Admin, that's it. Do you want to be admin for that, Two Joy, so that you can then kick out anyone? Because I just don't have enough time to get in there. I need some admins for different sites. So if anyone's interested, send me an email. Address is below. Autodidactic email at proton.me. I need to get my poo together and stop the trolls. So there you go. Oh, my brother from Arthur. What did Arthur Pendragon say? Person engraved. Words are spells. Yeah, man. Words are spells. It's the first thing they teach you in school, right? Spelling. That kind of spelling.
Squirrel Sniper says, don't forget now, it's not just the words of your intention that creates the attraction, it's the energy of the vibration.
Yes,
it's
the intent. Exactly. Very well done. Yeah, it's the intent. It's like if you walk up and, to give someone a present and you're like, oh, I really hate this person, but I want to look good. Then that's bad. That's quite bad juju. Probably wasn't a good example because there was no result coming from that, but yes. Yeah, man, it's the intent. If you want something, and if you want money, say, or a better lifestyle, which most people want, if your intent is that only people who are pricks get money, well, then you'd have to until you become a prick, you never get it. I'm not sure that I'm explaining myself well tonight. I think I've got jet lag. But anyway, you get it. Yes, it's all about intent, guys. All about intent. And I know about intent because I lived in one for 5 months. A tent.
Yeah.
I was intent.
Yeah, no, I got the
You
point.
got it? It was intense.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I only have one. But yeah.
It had multiple. It was a 2 or 3 bedroom, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, not well. It was really 1 bedroom, but it had a balcony. It had a veranda. It had an extra roof. No, it was like a sunroom, actually. Gosh. Thinking back to the days in my tent. I was very attentive back then.
Margavelli says, can I get one of those huts to live in America?
What?
As in the dome?
Is in the dome or is in the Organite hut? Yeah, man, you can get this dome. I do actually have the link. I need to look into that and get it sorted. Don't know where it is. I think it comes from Korea. Apparently it's a good place to go if you want a good career.
With you in the post.
I'm jet lagged. My mind is still halfway across the Pacific to America.
Jordan Olafson says, if you don't have haters or trolls, you ain't doing a good enough job. Trolls means your message is getting out there, so that's great.
Yeah, man, I agree.
So long as we don't end up like Max.
Like,
throw a hurricane at you.
Yeah. Max got done, man. He got Jude. The Jew with no Jew, right? No water in it. They're trying to ban 10. Them on the side of the
They
street.
made it illegal to be homeless.
Illegal to be homeless.
You can't go camp for more than 6 days in a month.
It's kind of a rule that's got the solution built in, though.
Right.
Because when they arrest you, they put you in jail, and suddenly you're not homeless anymore.
And not only that, you're getting 3 squares a day
3 square
and a roof over your head.
Roof over your head. Hey, man.
Next, they'll just throw you into the work camps, though. Like, here, now we're going to take your labour.
Yeah. They start making those registration plates for cars, right? of this, guys, is live. We'll do. All right. All right. Well, we've been going for about an hour and a half. How are you doing? Should we wrap it up?
Would be a good spot to do it.
Yeah, man. I'm getting hungry too. 7
Have some
o'clock.
dinner.
Maybe get some food into me,
Yeah.
and then we've got. So I'll get some video tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to have a few people, and Cameron's going to teach us
How to make
all
Orgonite.
how to make Organite. It's going to be all right, man. So we'll show you what's going on. Like I said, Organite Creations Australia on Facebook or Instagram. If you want more info, I'm sure you'll find his contact details there. Cameron's happy for you to email him if you want any specifics. He'll help you out if he can.
Organite Creations Australia @gmail.com for the email, and yeah, just type in Organite Creations Australia on Facebook or Instagram, and it should come up there as well.
All right, there you go.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. And thank you all for being here.
Absolute legends.
Make sure to hit the subscribe button. What else? Bell for notifications. All links below. All that stuff. Stay awesome. And I now have to get up and run to the computer to end this. So Cameron's going to wave out goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for watching us.
Oh my God, I didn't bring my bloody.
You got the outro?
I do have an outro.
Here we go.
All right.
Catch you later.
It's time to kick it old school.